Aquarius. How are you doing? It's Erin Scott here. So let's take a look at your September 2019 alchemy scope. Firstly, apologies for the delay in getting your video loaded. I've been having some various technological issues that have created massive delays. So for next month in October, you're going to be one of the very first ones I load, okay? So we're going to look at a few things here. There's an art channeling that we're going to diagnose here. We're going to analyze it. We're starting to watch that here. We're going to look at a divinatory message that came in through for you, and we're going to look at your astrology. So let's start with this, Aquarius. Firstly, there's a window coming here. Now, it's rounded, it's skewed. It's like the windows, like the Microsoft icon, at least from what I can remember it, okay, to be. So there's kind of this Microsoft icon emerging here, which you're going to see. The other thing that I'll point out, when I wrote out Aquarius at the top of the page, the S's continued. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 additional S's. I haven't analyzed this yet, so we're going to analyze it here right now. So you can see the panes of the window. We have an orange pane. We have a green pane. We have this brown pane, almost like a sepia-toned brown pane. And there's going to be more that emerges in that pane in a little bit. And then we have kind of this hunter green pane. So light green, dark green, sepia brown, and like an orange. Arced, like the window itself is curved, right? And now we have this rabbit head emerging, Aquarius. We have this rabbit head emerging. One ear is straight, the other ear is bent. So let's just continue taking a look here. So we're finishing up the rabbit, and then there's a little bit more to come. And then we're going to really dive into, well, we're going to attempt to analyze this. We're going to attempt it. So we have the rabbit becoming a yellow rabbit, all right, which we're going to talk about that as well. In fact, the entirety of the head of the rabbit, because this isn't a whole body. This rabbit is not a whole rabbit. It's the head and ears of the rabbit. So we're going to look at that. And then we have this form that's emerging. And what we're going to find is this is a golf course. Okay? So we have this kind of plot of land with these 3 holes. And we have 2 colors of green that's emerging here. We have this hunter green that's coming in now, and then we have this kind of apple green. So the lawn of this particular section of a golf course is mutable. There's different colors here, different growth, different maybe layers of growth here. And let's see what else was coming through here. I can't remember if there was another aspect. The one thing that's going to be interesting to talk about are the S's, because I don't yet know what that is. I had somewhat of an indication before I started recording here, but I'm going to let it come. You can see there's more contemplation coming. And now what's happening is with that brown pane in the window, there are these 1, 2, 3, 4 horizontal lines that are emerging there, okay? So Aquarius, let's take a look at what this means. Now, first of all, if we're looking at Aquarius S, the S's are continuing. There's 9 additional S's. 9 is a number of spiritual lesson, spiritual completion, a completion of a cycle. This is also the number of the humanitarian. So there could be something, Aquarius, for you about stepping up in a new way as a humanitarian, meeting the lesson for growth that's called upon you now in the month of September. S, let's take a look at S. Now, S is number 1. Let me just double check. But yeah, with the Pythagorean alphabet numerological association, indeed, S is number one. S is number one. So what we have here for in fact, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius, we have A's and S's showing up. Now, S is in fact number one, which is the individual. It is about initiation. It is about vital life force energy. It's about a new beginning. So there could be something nine S's, 9 individual. Spiritual lesson for the individual, stepping up as a humanitarian for the individual. So for a lot of Aquarians watching this, in the month of September, there could indeed be an indication, a prompting, an impetus to step up in ways that are now obligated from you to do things for the collective benefit. Whatever your particular attraction is for the humanitarian organization or goal or focus that is the intrigue or the interest for you specifically, according to your own natal blueprint, that is going to be the impetus for you. And for every one of you, that's going to be a different thing. For some of you, this is helping demographics of people on the planet that are suffering from climate events. For others of you, it's going to be humanitarian efforts toward for people that are being impacted by job loss or health issues. For others of you, the philanthropic kind of association will be toward animals that are in need of assistance and help. So with that, or with the earth, connecting with the actual earth and helping plant trees, for example, right? But for all of you, it's going to be different. It is innovative, though. Why do I say that? Because we have this kind of Microsoft Windows icon here. Aquarius, what I want to do, as I'm recording this for you, I want to actually look up the actual logo. It's a different logo now. I'm actually looking at it now. Windows like 10 that I just Googled, the window panes are different. They're not arced. Windows logo. Let me look this up quickly here. Okay, so the original Microsoft Windows, the original Microsoft Windows logo was 4 squares, and they are arced, but they're not the same arc that I thought they were. It doesn't really replicate my drawing. You can all Google it and look it up, but essentially it's like a wave. Now, there is indeed orange, apple green, gold, and blue. Those are the 4 colors in the actual logo. So the orange and the green we have there. Now let's talk about this particular one. Under Aquarius, there's an arc. It's an underline for Aquarius, but it's arced. The window is arced. It's almost pushing out, maybe wind. Wind might be pushing it out. Below that, we have these 3 flags on the golf course. The wind is blowing the flag. So wind could be inspiration. Indeed, we have the S's indicating number 1, initiation, new beginnings. Maybe there's new inspiration, Aquarius, for something innovative. Indeed, Microsoft was an innovative company. It still is, you know. So it does represent technology. It represents IT. It represents what I'm getting for you, Aquarius, is that there's something technological for a lot of you. This isn't going to be for all of you, certainly, but in a very generalized sense for this archetype, there is a new innovative or a new technologically based innovative new beginning. What is that for you individually? It would depend on your particular blueprint. But there's some new innovation wanting to come into being. Now, it has to do with either consciousness, a new vision, a new perspective. Why? Because we're looking at a window here. And we're looking at a window with light green, dark green panes, and the brown and the orange. Brown indicates something grounded and earth-based, soil, earth, physical, like physical matter. The orange represents education. The light green indicates, light green and dark green can both be associated with the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. So there could be something heart-based, some new growth. It's almost like the light green is new growth. The darker green might be heart chakra. So there's a new growth with regards to your compassion, the bigger, wider compassion for a lot of you this month that's getting activated. And then we have the brown with the lines, which we'll talk about, with the orange. So there's something grounded and physical, something physical that either gets created, there's a creative project that's going to end up with a physical product, or something technological that maybe has a material aspect to it, but it also is educational. There's something that is active and optimistic and educational with that orange. Now, the horizontal lines are interesting with the brown pain, because the horizontal lines to me indicate some sort of linear progression, and it's very practical. Why? Because there are 4 lines there. 4 is logistical, earth-based, practical, organizational. There's something that you're bringing forward that helps to either organize people technologically, or it's almost like you're helping to bring forward something to help organize people's vision or perspective. Now, how does that resonate for you as an individual? I don't know. But there's something here. There's something about bringing organizational, practical methodology, something grounded, something that people can sink their teeth into, that's going to help them with their vision, help them with moving forward, help them with something futuristic, or something that is a next iteration of X, Y, or Z, whatever that is. And there is wind blowing, pushing on the window. And again, we have this Microsoft theme here. So there's something about something innovative that could have a big, broad, expansive impact. For some of you, there's the beginning of something creating broad impact. Now, we have the rabbit here. It's a big rabbit head, not the body, just the head, indicating the brain and the mind. There's something about your thinking, your thoughts, your intuitive insights and your downloads, also your communication, right? Because the head houses the mind and the mouth. So there's something here, and the ears are quite big. So it's almost like you're paying attention to, you're listening, and you're paying attention to, you're attending to the innovation that you're receiving. In fact, if you look at that bent ear, it's right where the window is arced. So there's something here about, and this is an emphasis too, if we're looking at the rabbit, we're looking at the rabbit's left ear, right? We're looking at the right ear, but it's the rabbit's left ear, indicating the right brain. So there could be some intuitive hit, some intuitive download that comes in to the right brain, that activates your listening, your paying attention with that left ear. And indeed, it's bent toward that window. Microsoft, innovation, something to create some aid for a collective, for the humanitarian, 9 S's. So you are stepping up in one way, shape, or form, but it's coming in the form of a download. Now, the rabbit is yellow, indicating third chakra, ego identity, and persona. So your willpower and who you are as an identity, that's the yellow. The head is your thinking, your thoughts, your mind, and your communications. There's something that you're getting a download on that you're going to ultimately end up communicating. We have that orange pane of the window. It is practical. But what does the rabbit indicate? Rabbits represent fertility. Rabbits represent family, collectivity. They represent, there's a cuddly nature to rabbit, but rabbits are also quite fast. They're quick, they move quickly, they jump around quickly. And what this could indicate is that there's something here about a quick, rapid succession of thoughts, insights, downloads, maybe even dreams. I'm going to actually look at my book here. I want to look at a reference to see what I can find, anything else for rabbit that might bring us a little more clarity. Just give me a minute here. Okay, beauties. So let's take a look. So this is my dream book with Betty from Betty Bethards, which I've had since God was a baby. Hopping from one thing to the next without planning, lack of awareness in creation of your world, cuddling and warmth, completion of a task with the speed of a jackrabbit. That's actually what I get for this narrative for Rabbit. Completion of a task with the speed of a jackrabbit. This is, by the way, a jackrabbit. The ears are long here. This is a jackrabbit. This is not like a bunny rabbit. So indeed, completion of a task with the speed of a jackrabbit. That's what this is for you. That's what it is. Now let's go on to the golf course. I want to see if there's anything in here for golf course. I wonder. No, she doesn't have golf in here, but let's talk about golf. So first of all, we have the golf course itself, the green grass, and there's two colors of green, both in the window pane. Now, golf is a game. It's a sport, it's a game, it's a recreation. It's something that creates peace for people. There are people that play to get out in nature, even though it's very organized nature, it's very manicured nature, but it does get people outside in the sunshine, talking, socializing, playing, and relaxing, and having fun, riding on golf courts, drinking their beer, whatever they're going to do. So, but the thing here is that there's something innovative that you're bringing forward that might help people relax. For some of you listening to my voice, you know exactly what this is talking about. You might have some invention, something that gets created, or at least the inspiration, the ideas that get instigated this month for something to help people relax. The thing is, it is creative and it does involve community. It involves teams or groups of people. Why? Because we have 3 holes with the flags here. 3 represents creativity, community, teamwork, collaboration. It talks about creativity and community and communication. So there could be something here that gets created to help people relax that involves creativity and will involve teamwork of people, like many people coming together. Not huge groups, but small groups of people coming together. The interesting thing is the holes and the flags are not colored in. They're white, they're clear, they're transparent. There's potential here. I think you're still working out the details. When it comes to throughout the month of September, as we get to the end of September, you might not have it all figured out yet. Whatever this is that you're creating to help people, perhaps it is a game. For some of you, you literally are developing some sort of a game. In fact, for some of you, this could even be gaming, which I am completely uneducated around, have no idea about it. But there could be something technologically, a game system, a gaming system that gets created here that comes through with the speed of a jackrabbit, okay? And it's part of your identity. It's part of what you're here to do. Again, a lot of you listening to this, it's not all going to show up in the same way. It's just not. But for some of you, there's something, a tool to help people relax that's coming through as an innovation. There's something practical to it. There's a practical function to the thing that's coming through. And it does, at least in your perspective, it has to do with you stepping up as a humanitarian. So it's to help people. It's to help the collectivity in one way, shape, or form, Aquarius. Okay? Very interesting. Fascinating. Okay, beauties. So now let's take a look at the divinatory message that came through for you. Now, this was pulled last month. This was at the end of August, and I went out to the river and pulled the cards for all of the signs. So let's take a look at what came through for you. Now, for you, we have Mars, and be confident in yourself is the message here. This is a palmistry deck. You can see the circle on the palm right underneath, essentially, the index finger, between the index finger and the thumb. There on the palm, that's the point that this is referring to. So what you can do throughout September is to apply acupressure to this point in order to activate it. Now, this card, this message for you, is in fact your growth edge. This is your growth edge this month. It's what needs to be evolved. Now, this is the reflection. You may be right, you may be wrong, but if you are faithful to what you believe in, you will always be true to yourself. Build confidence by knowing and following your true self. Do not let outside forces knock you off your path. There is a potential hero inside of everyone. The key to being a hero is about caring. The more you care, the bigger the hero. What do you care about? Your work, your family, your friends? Be a hero to all, and don't forget to care about yourself and how great you can be. Now, why is this so pertinent and very highly aligned to the artwork that came through, Aquarius? Simply because of the fact that the growth for you is in fact about having the perspective and the view, looking at what will benefit the collective, what will benefit the whole, what will benefit humanity, okay? This is a big deal, because what this is saying is that if you don't attend to this, then the information that came through, the message, the narrative of your natural evolutionary growth that came through the art channeling is going to be too egocentric in its orientation. Thus, the yellow rabbit head, too mental and too ego focused. So the growth inherently for you is to not be so self-identified with the juice, the creativity, the downloads that are coming in and through you. This is not about you. This is about all of us. This is about the whole. We are naturally all interconnected. So beautiful growth edge for you this month, along with the narratives that are arising with the art. Now, Aquarius, let's take a look at your astrology. Now, this particular chart is essentially pulled from the Virgo new moon, which happened at the end of August, and is imbuing the energetic natural narrative for this month of September. For you, you have the stellium of planets. We had so many planets there in Virgo at the beginning of the month. The focus for you, Aquarius, is in the 8th house. This is the house of your deep psyche. There's a lot of focused energy for you really attending to the stuff deep within. Shadows, woundings, old patterns, antiquated ways of feeling about things. What's the old narratives that are driving how you emotionally respond to things? Now, the 8th house is also about power. Certainly it's about death, rebirth, it's about transformation, but it's also about power. And the issue with all of this functional energy of you as an archetype in that Virgo 8th house is a lot of mental contemplation and analyzation even about your own shadows, about what you are, what your narrative is, and what you're here to learn from the wound sets that you have inherently. So there's consideration with that, but there's also a lot of kind of practical assessment and discernment happening with regards to how you operate in your power, or how you give it away, or how you're imbalanced with how you show up as a powerful entity. Okay? So there's this interesting kind of self and other reflection. How is it that I hold my power in relationships? How is it that I lose my power in relationships and give it away? That is a narrative here. And for you, because we have that big Earth trine with that stellium of planet in Virgo trining Pluto, South Node, and Saturn in your 12th house of your unconscious, of your soul structure, of your karmic patterning, of the etheric, of the source field, okay? 12th house. It's also the house of the isolated aspect of the self, the isolation house, certainly, removing yourself from engagement so that you can dive deep within the self. But ultimately, that 12th house is all about your inner soul structure, your inner narrative, right? For you, Virgo planets have been trining that area of deep spiritual transformation that you have been going through now for quite a long time. And indeed, both of those components in those two earth signs are also trining Uranus, which is in Taurus. So there's this big grand earth trine where there is new beginnings happening, perhaps sporadic and out of the blue, new clarity happening with regards to who you are and how you feel about things, how you operate within your emotional guidance system, and these new awarenesses about your feeling body. And also, by the way, it's going to be connected to issues of home and family as well, maybe property and land for you very specifically, but place can have what am I trying to say? Place can be a narrative that shows up for you this month. Place and some connection to a spiritual or karmic unfolding event that needs to happen with regards to power dynamics, and even for some of you, spouse or partnership relationships, deep, intimate partnerships and relationships. So place, spiritual narratives, and partners, that's a narrative that's coming up this month. What does that mean? Does it mean that there's karmic transformation happening with the partner that you've had maybe for years? Could it be that there's people starting to arise in your field of experience that could become the partner, the connected marital partner or long-term partner down the line? That could be. But it is connected to place for you, I will tell you that. Home and location, where you're currently living. Now for you, where you're currently living is very, and it has been for a little bit, for the last many months in 2019, home and location for you is kind of up, meaning a lot of you might be very much considering, mobile living, RV living, schooly living. You know what I'm saying? This is about being on the road, having freedom with regards to your location and where you belong, where you're rooted. With all that being said, though, I will go back to the fact that there is some kind of creative emergence that's arising within you that's connected to some emotional knowing and connected to some emotional orientation for you. And for each of you, that's going to be very distinct and specific according to your blueprint, according to your natal chart, okay? So with regards to your emotional resonance, where it currently lives or where it lives in your reality, how you feel about things, what you're emotionally connected to. I have to tell you, with this particular grand trine for you, for the Aquarius archetype, let me look at this for a minute here. Because it's very distinctly associated with this Virgo 8th. Virgo 8th. Simultaneously, by the way, that Virgo 8th is having this T-square activation. Down with what was the career point in the new moon chart and up to Jupiter in your 11th house. Now, before we go to that grand trine with Uranus, let's go to that square from all of those planets in Virgo squaring Jupiter and Sagittarius in your 11th house. The 11th house of the humanitarian and philanthropic efforts, okay? And also friends and group. Okay, so as it relates to collectives of people, as it relates to community, to tribe, to intentional community, etc. There's a square there. So for you, it's some kind of deeper psychic transmission coming through, because that's also 8th house, is the metaphysical mind, the psychic aspects of the mind. It's the deep mind, it's the shadowed mind, but it's also the ability for the psychic access points through the mind. But the thing is, there's a lot of kind of Virgoan, detailed, focused energy in that 8th house, which is activating, it's creating an energetic charge to that Jupiter. So you as the teacher, you as the humanitarian who teaches, who communicates, is indeed very, very activated with that, Virgo stellium. But again, we have this kind of grand earth trine connected to place, spiritual and karmic kind of unfolding experiences. There's something that's needing to happen now for you. And it does involve a psychic component. In fact, I'm tending to think it's more psychic. And see, this is the thing, everybody. This is what I want to point out. That grouping of planet up in Virgo is trining that Uranus down in Taurus in the 4th house of place. Keep in mind, we had the golf course. 2 different colors of green, new growth and existing growth. There's something new that's helping something existing. New grass, older grass. New growth, existing system. So, and it is land. What we're talking about here with Uranus and Taurus is there's change with land, change with place. For you, that's very much the case with your astrology. So there's change with place connected to some psychic insights, some identification of your power, and also potentially for some of you connected to the narrative of a marital partner or a long-term love partnership. And it's connected to the fated processes of the changes, the steep spiritual changes that you are undergoing with Pluto, South Node, Saturn, and Capricorn 12th. So there's a lot of deep spiritual transmutation, but it is, and it has been for a little while, connected by trine to that Uranus in Taurus. Change of place is part of the narrative of you stepping up as a teacher and a humanitarian. And it's connecting to you accessing your power. This is what I want to say too before I complete this segment here, is Aquarius, for you, mid-month, both Mercury and Venus are popping out of Virgo and into Libra. And for your archetype, that pops into the 9th house there. And the 9th house is the house of travel, going overseas. It's the house of new experiences. It's the house of the expanded mind, learning, new teachers, our belief system, our paradigm of reality, our worldview. So it's the aspect of the consciousness of our mind, the higher consciousness of what are our beliefs about truth, about reality. What do we believe is true? What are our constructs of the reality that we see? What is the construct of the reality of our perceptive lens? That's the 9th house. But it is also the house of new experiences, new growth through new teachers, new learnings, new travel, new people. So the thing is, for you, I do think that end of the month, certainly, your mind is going to be more focused on travel, on change of place, on new expanded experiences, and on people in different places. So there's something activated here where you're going to seek to find people, to connect with people, to learn from people, to maybe interview people from different places that might be a part of this creative emergence, this Windows type, Microsoft type, golf course, jackrabbit quickness, new iteration, new creative exploration that's wanting to come through you. Very interesting. I will have more that we'll dive into for the month of October, but in the meantime, I hope that was helpful. For those of you interested, I have mini sales happening in the month of September. To go deep, to really understand your natal blueprint, order your natal analysis. I go very in depth. It's a lifelong tool, and it's simply foundational. Okay? All right, everybody. Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.